For more on this morning's movers, grabbing everybody's attention, Diane King Hall is here, host of Morning Movers, to take a look at HIMS and HERS after earnings right now, up over 4%, I see.
Yeah, gaining ground. It's a different picture than how we saw the reaction in the pre-market. It did beat expectations in the trailing a quarter, and initially in the pre-market, you had some investors a little worried about the guidance, but it looks like they're shaking that off right now. In terms of the most recent quarter reported EPS of 20 cents a share, that was better than what the street was looking for. Street was looking for 12 cents a share. Revenue came in at 586, just above 586 million for HIMS and HERS. Street was looking for 538 million. So you saw a huge jump in revenue. It was up more than 100% on a year-over-year basis. In terms of what the outlook is from here, for the second quarter, they're projecting revenue to come in between 530 to 550 million. That's actually short of estimates. But once again, you're seeing the street shake that off. They gave a 2030 revenue target of at least $6.5 billion. And the street was actually looking for a little bit more than that, but you know, once again, it seems like they're focusing on at least this most recent quarter and what the outlook looks like, especially when it comes to the weight loss market. That's a big part of the business that's been in focus for HIMS and HERS, because there were questions around that, because they were a platform that was offering that compounded semaglutide, those GLP-1s, essentially the knockoff, the dupe versions of the Wegovy, right? So that was a growth driver for HIMS and HERS. But then they faced that hard stop that's coming later this month when the FDA said there was no longer a shortage, so these compounders couldn't offer these. But recently, as you know, HIMS and HERS struck a deal with Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk struck this deal with other telehealth providers as well, but HIMS and HERS, one of the beneficiaries of that. So HIMS still expecting 725 million in terms of weight loss sales for 2025, and that's even without the compounded drug. So once again, they have this access to Novo Nordisk, essentially kind of a lifeline for HIMS and HERS that allows them to sell the branded version of the GLP-1s, Nicole.
That was a big deal and gave a big boost to the stock, which is up 76% in 1 month. And Needham, I saw, has a $61 target this morning. That's even higher than where we are now. Novo reports tomorrow, so we'll listen for anything they may have to say. But the big picture, pretty nice here. And subscribers, you noted, saw the growth. A final thought on HIMS and HERS?
It is. I mean, look, it's good to see this kind of when you see this turnaround and that they have an option now when it comes to the weight loss drugs, because again, that had been a big part of the growth story there. So now that they have access to this, it looks like the way investors are reacting to this is going to be a net positive because there is an option.
All right, next up, Constellation shares. Constellation Energy had been trading lower, but now to the upside.
Yeah, certainly a different reaction now. Once again, similar to HIMS and HERS, investors are focusing on the positive more than the negative. For its trailing quarter, reported in line on EPS. Adjusted EPS came in at $2.14 a share. Revenue came in at $6.79 billion. That was a beat. In terms of the outlook, they reaffirmed their full year guidance. Full year, they're expecting adjusted EPS between $8.90 and $9.60. Street looking for $9.44, so around the midpoint of that range. And we've heard from different analysts that affirming guidance is the new beat this cycle around. They talked about the Calpine acquisition. They said that's still on track. That's the largest U.S. clean energy provider, I should say. That deal is expected to close in the fourth quarter of this year. That will be a significant expansion of Constellation's clean energy portfolio. The CEO highlighted how AI demand is fueling nuclear and momentum there, and positioning nuclear energy as critical to the growth story when it comes to data center demand needs and the growth around AI. And we still hear that from the Mag 7 reporting that there is still a growth story there for AI. The CEO said, quote, as Presidents Trump and Biden repeatedly have emphasized, it is vital for our national security and for our economy that America lead the artificial intelligence race. And he said he's so proud that Constellation is playing an important role. So you saw there was some growth in nuclear generation. Besides the Calpine acquisition, they, kind of teased. They said there are new power agreements to come. So it sounds like they're cooking up some things for the future.
All right. Last but not least, we have a deal for Doordash, right?
Yes.
And earnings.
Yeah. They weren't expected to report earnings today, but they released their earnings along with this deal news. A couple deals they announced, actually. So they swung into the black from a year ago. Remember, they reported a loss a year ago. Mixed bag, though, overall with its latest results. Adjusted EPS, 44 cents a share. Street was looking for 40 cents a share. Revenue top $3 billion, 3.03. Street was looking for 3.09 billion. So that was weaker than expected. Total orders, so consumer demand still strong. Those were up 18% year over year. In terms of the deals, they've announced they're acquiring Deliveroo. That gives them access to international markets. When you convert that to dollars, that's about a $3.9 billion valuation for Deliveroo. That gives them access to markets in Europe, across the Middle East, France, Italy, Qatar, and the UAE. They also announced this acquisition of 7 Rooms. That's the restaurant software firm. That's going to be a $1.2 billion deal. Also, both of these all cash deals.
It's big.
It's been
lots of action here for Doordash today, grabbing everybody's attention, but the stock to the downside. All right, Diane King Hall, great to see you. Great movers with HIMS and HERS, Constellation Energy, and Doordash. Thank you, Diane.